Okay guys, so I did say that this is a zero waste plan, and you might be wondering what to do with the remainder of your rosemary. Now, if you're going to continue on and work with me next week, please leave a little aside because we are going to use a little bit of the rosemary and it'll hold. Just leave it in your crisper drawer in your refrigerator. It'll be fine. But let me show you what you can do with a little bit of the rosemary so that you are using all of your products and they're nice and fresh. And rosemary is so fragrant, why wouldn't you want to use this? All right, so one way to do it is to just use 1 or 2 sprigs. If you have a olive oil bottle, just get that open. Whoopsie, it kind of came apart. It's okay. Oops, okay, let me pull that out. Okay, so all you're gonna do is just pop 1 of your sprigs of rosemary, and just choose a small one because this will last about 7, 8, 9 days, and then just top it off with a little bit of fresh olive oil. Right? Now, don't do too much because you know, if you're not going to use it, well, then it kind of goes to waste. But people get really creative and they'll put some other spices in there, a clove of garlic, some red chili pepper flakes. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with that. And then just use a tablespoon of that. So you could use that, a drizzle on some of your vegetables, right, throughout the week, like with your lemon roast chicken, let's say. Something else that's great to do, what I always do is I just make my own compound butter. I used to work at Spaghetti Factory and they had the garlic butter, and I always loved that. I just thought that was such a great idea, and of course everyone ate it up, well, the people who love garlic anyways. So I just put some soft butter in there. I used a vegan butter. I have that on hand. Just use what you have on hand. You could melt it, but you don't really need to do that. Just leave it on your countertop for a minute to soften if you don't have a soft butter. And then what you're gonna do is just mince about, I'm gonna use like about half of this sprig, right? And again, once you've got this minced in, or once you have this minced finally to your liking, you're just gonna go ahead and put it right in the butter, you know? And I've got lots of Tupperware, so I would say, you know, you could use, if you had just like a little left in a container, like you could just throw it right in the container so you don't have to use anything else. But if you have some extra Tupperware, this is perfect for that. And so then throughout the week, I will probably use about a tablespoon of this in on my vegetables, you know, with my protein meal. How delicious will this be on some steamed broccoli slaw with the roast chicken, right? It's so good. Or you could really get really super flavorful and do it with maybe the shrimp. You could do it with the steak, you know? So you just want to be reasonable with it. Don't go overboard. Like I said, the calories can get out of control when you're not paying attention to how much oil or butter you're using, or any healthy fat for that matter. But so I've got it nice and minced, and I'm just gonna go ahead and toss it right in my little butter container that I just made myself, like no big deal. And then I'll just, like, mine's a little bit hard still, so I'm just gonna kind of chop it around. And then I can leave it out and I can come back to it. But so you see, there's lots of ways that you can use all of the food that you buy, but the herbs that you buy. One thing that I've seen, especially for those of you that are thinking, hey, you know, you might want to have a dinner party now that you're learning to cook, or maybe you found one particular dish that you really like that you want to share with some friends, take one of your sprigs of rosemary and then tie it to a napkin with their fork and knife. You know, my DIY people, you guys know, it looks so pretty. It's like so simple, but you know, having fresh rosemary set on the table when everybody sits down, and it's so fragrant and it looks so pretty, and it's like you just take that little extra step so you can use a little bit of your rosemary if you wanted to do it that way. I mean, it's just like there's lots of, I mean, besides eating it, there's lots of other cool things you can do with rosemary. Sticking it under your pillow, great way to go. Just use like a little baggie, right? It doesn't get everywhere. Or if you have a cat, like I have cats, they could go crazy. Again, if you are gonna work with me next week, if you're enjoying everything, which I hope you are, and I hope you're getting results, and seeing how easy this is once someone helps you put it together, the game plan for you, and then you can, you know, do it on your own. So save a couple for me for next week, because we're going to use this next week for sure. You have a half a container of vegetable stock. Now we're going to need a couple of tablespoons for that if you're going to be doing the shrimp dish this week, or you can substitute it for whitefish if you have an allergy. for the rest of you, if you for some reason are going to continue on, but you have to skip next week for work, whatever, you know, stuff comes up, go ahead, put the half of your container in another freezer safe container and freeze it, because you can't defrost these really quickly. Something like this you can defrost rather quickly, but you can't use this in the microwave, these kind of containers. So just save yourself the trouble, because if you forget, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have the, you know, the stock. So you'll have it, okay? Now, we also have some celery and some carrots left. If you are continuing next week, we need 2 stalks of carrots, two carrot stalks, and we need 3 celery stalks, okay? So set those aside. I would chop up the rest of what I have and use it as a snack. Just place them in some water, you know, with the carrots I would peel them for sure, and then cut them up into like a matchstick style. Or you can just leave it whole, it doesn't matter, you know, make it easy, who cares, right? It's just for you. And then of course the celery is always great, you know, if you're a person who likes to snack. I think peanut butter is ideal since we have the peanut butter that we bought for this week, right? And then also if you really just like the soup, you can make it again, you know, so, but just like I'm saying, just to make sure that you set aside 2 sticks of carrots and then 3 celery stalks, okay? And then that's it, 0 waste. You're all done, you're all set, you used everything. Hopefully, you know, you will have used everything, hopefully, you know, meaning that you got to all of your dishes. I'm Marcia Whitfield, Healthy Chef, and this is Everything Dash Diet, 0 Waste. Bye for now.